Hello, everyone. This is Toni Weel from oh so cloudy Florida with promises of rain for days, and we don't get it. And my plants need it. I have a little jungle just outside my house. It's absolutely gorgeous. Even have some fruit here and there, but my mangoes are done. We ate them all, and they were so, so good. We have with us today Katie and Sarah. Unfortunately, we miss out on Gary Parents. He mentioned his festival that they had for 3 days, and they were cleaning up this morning and had to be out there by noon. And he is in, I think it's in Colorado. So noon there, it's probably 10 o'clock. Noon here is there 10 o'clock, so he just could not be here. And we miss him. We will miss him. And today the plan is to start to talk about heavy metal toxicity. Everybody's always talking about it, and everybody is, can we say a victim of it? I'd rather not say victim, but we definitely are exposed to heavy metals in so many ways. And it is good to go over it. I put an article, and what do you call it? I put a PDF together and from different sources. Most of the sources actually came from grapegate.com, always a good source for information related to your health, and Dr. Morse. And yeah, definitely check that out there. I will be sharing the PDF, but unfortunately, I had the PDF open like it should be in Adobe, and then Adobe crashed. And now I can't get it to open. So what we will do is we just open it up in Word. I mean, like Sarah said, whatever works. So I'm going to find the share options and get through all my messy stuff on the computer and see where is it. And I had it in Word. There you are, heavy metal toxicity. Now, Katie or Sarah, do you want to jump in? You can at any time. Just make sure to. I will read in between what I go over.
Tony, is there any way for you to maximize the article in Word so that it's easier to see on the video?
Let me see, and we'll do it like this.
That's good.
Okay, that is the beauty of a touch screen on my laptop. My very, very old laptop, but I'm still very happy with it, and with old more than 10 years. I think that's old for a laptop, isn't it? So yeah, just have it in words. But if you guys want to say anything, mention anything about it, go ahead. Oh yeah, and if you want this PDF, you just sent me an email in healthywithfruits at gmail.com. The email is always listed in the description of the video, so if you forget it, you can always find it. And I really like this image because it is so clear, what the effects are, like lack of concentration, suppressed immune system, upset stomach, increased heart rate, joint pain, lowered body bone density, and decreased hormone production. And I knew aluminum has something to do with it. Now, I'm going to read certain areas, not everything. I think that today we can keep it a little shorter than usual. But let's just, can you really read it now, Sarah and Katie?
Yes,
Yes, I
I
can see it.
can.
Mhm.
Okay, very, very good. I will go slow over scrolling down over all the tests and just see what stands out. I have to admit, although I put this together, I didn't do any of my other homework I should have done by like, okay, this is important and this is important. But I think most of the text that is in here is of value. So, and it starts with, although still a large percentage of populations are oblivious to it, exposure to heavy metals and metalloids coupled with the inability to effectively excrete these substances from the body and the damaging effects produced as a result is a growing concern as more people are becoming increasingly aware of the deleterious nature of these metals. Did I pronounce that correctly? Ladies,
That I
yeah?
don't know actually. It
Oh, oh,
sounds about right.
oh, oh, I don't need to feel
Maybe
bad
Katie
then.
being the teacher.
Yeah, I don't need to feel bad about it then. The harmful impact inherent to these toxic metals is not a new awareness that has recently surfaced, and some metals have had hundreds, if not several thousands years of history of application, ranging from construction work, lead, to have been deployed by the Romans as a treatment for syphilis, like mercury, 1300s to the 1800s, even 500 years. Can you imagine that? Now I have to think about something. I always heard that with syphilis you get like crazy, you get mental issues. Now you can wonder if that wasn't because of the mercury, because mercury is known for that. Crazy, crazy, crazy. One of the major products uses for mercury today, however, is deploying it for dental silver amalgam fillings, where mercury constitutes roughly 43 to 54% of the amalgam compound, which, according to the Food and Drug Administration, has been done for more than 150 years in hundreds of millions of patients. This practice of using dental amalgam fillings has, for good reason, been banned in 3 countries so far: Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. And yeah, they are always smarter than any other country there, health-wise. Now, I was looking into because I need well, a lot of dental procedures, and I was looking into what they use these days for fillings, and I also looked in dental insurances, and I saw with one that they only pay the cost of fillings if it is amalgam. Can you believe that?
Weird.
Despite today's awareness of heavy metal toxicity, exposure continues to rise in some parts of the world, notably in less developed countries. A heavy metal can be loosely defined as a metal generally known to act as contaminant exhibiting toxic effects in living organisms, as cadmium, lead, mercury, nickel, inorganic iron, and aluminum are well-known heavy metals. A metalloid is essentially an element with metal and non-metal properties. The two most commonly known metalloids being arsenic, and antimony. Never heard of it. Uh, yeah. These are metals which many of which are considered heavy metals that have no known nutritive value to the human body, like lead, mercury, and cadmium. While there are also trace elements, nutrient metals, considered essential to maintain maintenance of health. This is from Dr. Morse. Trace elements are minerals needed in small amounts by plants, animals, and human beings. There are trace amounts of over 65 minerals in our bodies. They play a major role in health and are essential to the assimilation and utilization of vitamins and other nutrients. They aid in digestion and provide a catalyst for many hormones, enzymes, and essentially body functions and reactions. They also aid in replacing electrolytes lost through heavy perspiration, sweating, or extended diarrhea and protect against toxic reactions and heavy metal poisoning. Current research now proves that human beings should get the required trace elements from their foods. in a balanced diet, especially fresh fruit and vegetables. That is from Robert Morse from the Detox Miracle Source Book on page 8384. And that is exactly because I was told I gave a client homework yesterday and about vitamins, and I'm short on this, it shows in the test, and then I'm like, okay, we start on page 75, and I think it goes on to page 94. That's 20 pages of homework. And I would say if you have the book, read about it, read about your vitamins, read about what the food sources are, because here we go. Oftentimes it is like, yeah, well, the doctor needs me to take this and vitamins and minerals and etc. And I'm like, okay, if you have the book, look it up and see what exactly in which food it is. And I definitely, I might as well do that now. I mean, we're talking about heavy metals, and all of a sudden iron comes up, and that's not necessarily a heavy metal. But I hear so many people about I am low in iron, and I have anemia, and etc. So what I did was, let me see if I can find it really fast. Here are the fruits and vegetables high in iron. I can send it to you. I haven't saved it yet on my computer, but I can send it to you. But dried fruit, apricots, spinach, potted peas, well, they're high in proteins too. Asparagus, white button mushrooms, acorn squash, leeks, dried coconut, green beans, raspberries. So I would say, eat a ton of raspberries when they are in season. Eat some spinach. You don't need that much. And of course, you can eat your dried fruit, like the apricots. There's another really great source. It's nettle, stinging nettle. It's high in iron. Yeah, because I did a lookup for fruits and vegetables and not herbs, but that is one too. Okay, so I wanted to get this out of the way that and I have to admit I once stopped with I think I was in 35 days on a water fast, and I noticed that my gums in what is it, under the eyes, that was all getting really white. So that is an indication that you're low in iron and get anemic. So, and I got tired, so that was for me like, okay, I need to have more nutrition in my body. However, there is also something that you may not absorb very well, and that can be a reason that you get low in vitamins or minerals. Okay, but now we have it about the heavy metal, and that's something else. But I didn't want to forget, and I thought it was important, so there we go. While heavy metals can have acute fatal effects on people's physical health or induce long-term chronic sickness or emotional and mental instability, this form of toxicity often goes undiagnosed, unrecognized, and is thus left unaddressed. Every person on this planet has been subjected to various forms of pollution. The World Health Organization acknowledges that environmental pollution is the underlying cause of 80% of all chronic degenerative diseases. Well, proof has been established as to the causative effect of heavy metals in many neurological conditions. The FDI now warns women of childbearing age, all women above 18, well, there are women of under 18 that are childbearing, and children to not eat certain heavy metal containing fish. Yet, testing for heavy metal toxicity is not a standard diagnostic procedure. There's no doctor who's ever comes up with it. You have to ask for it. If you are suffering with a chronic degenerative issue or you just don't feel well and you don't know why, there's enough evidence to suggest that you should make it a priority to find out if you have high levels of toxic materials and chemicals in your body. Heavy metal toxicity always affects multiple sites and organ systems within the body. And what tissues become majorly affected will be dependent upon the specific metals involved, as the various metals tend to be polarized to specific parts of the body. Now, this article does not go into how, well, it does go, and I will get there in a minute, how you get these in your body, but don't forget, we have for, I don't know how many years, it's probably more than 10 years already, been, yeah, here you are a victim, but by chemtrails. And I think most of us now know what chemtrails are and what is in them. And it has been said there is mercury in it, there's aluminum in it, there's cadmium in it. So all these really heavy metals are in there, and we breathe them in. They get on our skin, they get in our lungs, they just get in the body. If it gets on your skin, it gets in the body. So, and
And
of
Toni,
course, we breathe it in. Go ahead, Sarah.
yep, I was just getting ready to say that it also comes in our cereals and baby formulas. It's the fortified inorganic iron and possible metal contamination. Your
Yeah,
tap water, canned foods, your cookwares, vaccines, even in makeup and food dyes.
yeah,
They're all common exposure points.
yeah,
Tobacco smoke and fish like tuna and shrimp, they're heavy offenders.
yeah, yeah. Let me see, where was I? How a person is ultimately affected by toxic metals and what symptoms may be experienced will, again, come down to the specific metals informed, but also the amount that has entered the person's system following acute or chronic exposure. AIDS, young children, as an example, will absorb more of the ingested lead into their bodies, rendering them increasingly prone to the harmful effects of this element and may compromise proper neurological development. How sensitive they may be to the metals involved and their ability to detoxify these metals out of the body. Well, there is some new information out about lead. And I think, for us who have been a little older, yeah, we were chewing on these things with lead in it, and it didn't affect my brain. Maybe it did. I don't know. But there is some different information out about it right now. And there is a plethora of ways in which a person can be exposed to various metal sources of notable metals outlined below, ranging from diet and supplements to the use of medication. Yeah, be aware of that too. There's a lot of this stuff in medication. I think it is totally unnecessary, especially for your health. Or environmental occupational exposure, latter being considered the greatest source of exposure historically. And I'm thinking about nail polish, salons, all the chemicals that are being put on hair. But yes, Sarah, we had a list of where you can find it, and that is aluminum foil in cookware, anti-acid, and
Mhm.
acids, antiperspirants, auto exhaust, baking powder, aspirin, buffered aspirin, canned acidic food, ceramics. Yeah, and that I didn't even know about ceramics. Because you think, well, okay, I don't use plastic, then I use ceramics, and I use glass. And even in glass, you can have it. Food additives, lipstick, medication and drugs, anti-diarrhea agent, hemorrhoid medication, vaginal douches, processed cheese. And all cheese is processed. That you have aluminum in it, it's pretty bad. Refined flour, that I didn't know actually. And tobacco smoke. Then you get the arsenic. I can read it all, but you guys, you can read with me if something stands out. I'll like, arsenic in actually in well water and in seafood. Drying agents for cotton. So if you buy cotton, there you go. And it's a good thing that they actually put any air pollution in the list too. Same with cadmium. It's even in highway dust. And now notice meat, kidney, liver, and poultry. Well, we know about the batteries and phosphate fertilizers, PVC plastics, the seafood, tea. I don't like that because I like tea. And I'm probably good because I mostly drink what is it? Herbal teas. And here we have the iron. Yeah, you can get iron, fish, iron skillets, iron supplements, plant foods, poultry, and red meats. But we go with the plant foods. Well, actually, plant as a foods, not plant foods. Plant food is for the plants. Guys, if you want to jump in, then go ahead. When I was in my early 20s, I had what is it? Asthmatic bronchitis. It was pretty bad, and I smoked. I never smoked a lot or a long, but at that time I smoked. And I had been sitting up in bed for about a week because laying down I couldn't even breathe. It was so bad. So eventually they decided to do an allergy test. And what came out? Auto exhaust. Well, now you can see why, with the lead, and it was mentioned in the other heavy metals too. Now, mercury, again, air pollution, but pretty bad that it is actually in contact lens solution and in cosmetics and in diuretics and fabric softeners. It's unbelievable. And grains. I did not know that it was in high fructose corn syrup, but as long as I can remember, always stayed away from that. And in tattoos. Would that still be the case? That still is in mercury, is in tattoo ink? I have a few little tattoos. Well, actually only have two.
Say I have no idea. I mean, they keep saying that tattoos are more and more safe nowadays, but I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a victim of them as well. I have one, and wish I never did. I was young, but
Yeah,
I do know if you want to get rid of them, though, you should definitely make sure everything is filtering, because even though you can get rid of them, all the thing that laser does is just breaks it up, and then it's up to your system to filter
right.
it
And
out.
I think with having them, because I have one that is maybe 2 inch by 2 inch, and the other one is tiny. It's less than an inch.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had them from the what is it, mid 80s, early 80s to mid 80s.
Yeah.
And what I think is that right now, I mean, I had it for a long time. It's still not really, it's not fading away, but it never gets any sun. So I have it on my shoulder, so I don't, not in the
Mm-hmm.
sun. It
I mean,
yeah, what I was going to say, it enters the bloodstream slowly. If you would with laser, then you get that stuff all of a sudden in your body.
yes,
So I'm like, well, just leave it alone. And
yeah.
I don't regret it. It was something that I found beautiful then, still find it beautiful. My husband has two on his upper arm, Navy time. Just
Mm-hmm.
had to be done. And he doesn't regret it, but not in a way that he would say, yeah, I'm gonna have them lasered away. Not doing that. So it's just there, and you get to a point you don't even notice anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same like with your fillings and stuff too. It's like, they're there, they've been there for so many years. Do I even do anything at this point? But the
Right.
fillings, though, I know that they can eventually start to leak and start to do stuff. So, but it's like, I don't know. I,
I
yeah.
do feel that with the fillings, and I have that. I still have the fillings. I know they're leaking, and it is getting to a point that healing for me is more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow I have an appointment, and they're going to see if I am a candidate for a full, what is it, upper and lower implants.
Oh, nice.
But we have to get together $50,000.
Oh my gosh.
That is
Not
like,
nice.
no, I'm like, gosh, But I do believe everything happens for a reason, and everything will work out. It has been that is like, going through my life, everything always worked out. Maybe not the way that you always wanted it, but always the way it had to be. And I've been looking at this for a few years now, knowing what was happening. And I had, yeah, bad teeth, affected teeth by whatever since, well, high acidity since my teenage years. And now we know that vaccination can be a part of teeth problems. And I had quite a few for immigration. I knew that it wasn't good, but then you have this like, well, we'll see what happens. We'll see. We'll work it out. And yeah, it did not help my health. Anyway, and here we go with nickel. It's God, it's also in nuts and cocoa. Wow, jewelry, yeah, nickel and jewelry. I've never even thought about it, Oh yeah, nickel is a heavy metal. And of course, it's in coin, in ceramics again. So now we have the mercury and elemental mercury. It's metallic, silvery, liquidy, pure state. Oh, that's what you had in the thermometers. Inorganic mercury, organic mercury compounds like in ethyl mercury and methyl mercury, the latter being the most ubiquitous in the environment. Okay, it goes into the elemental mercury, and it has a note there. Dr. Morse does not support the concept of a blood-brain barrier, and it's talked a lot about it. With this, it says that it easily crosses blood-brain and placental barriers and can enter breast milk. Well, whatever you take in, it can enter the breast milk. It goes into your body. But yeah, it's a potent neurotoxin that impacts the central nervous system. And some of the neurological effects are tremors, mood swings, irritability, excessive shyness. Hey, we do see that with adrenal problems too. Insomnia, loss of coordination, slurred speech, and pins and needle sensation. Very high exposure can cause kidney effects, respiratory failure, and death. So, yeah, I heard Dr. Moore say that. He doesn't believe in the blood-brain barrier. I don't know. I mean, I usually always go with what he says because, he was the only one in my life with my search and research for healing who made sense. And from what I have been seeing, how we can heal. So this is interesting. I have to look up if he talks more about it, why that is. So then we have the inorganic mercury. I'm not going to read that all because if you want the PDF, you can ask me for it. Now here you go with the testing for the heavy metals. If you suspect that you have any metals in your body affecting your health negatively, it is recommended, the R is missing there, that you have the appropriate test done to determine to what extent heavy metals may be involved. Among the several tests that offer to measure and illuminate heavy metals, the following are 3 tests that are often utilized for this purpose, all of which have their pros and drawbacks, of which differ from practitioner to practitioner. Well, you have the urine challenge. This test involved the administration of a synthetic chelation agent, EDTA, DMPS, and DMSA, to provoke or mobilize the heavy metals for urinary excretion, the concentration which is then measured. I don't like this. Yeah. Individuals with amalgam fillings or that are allergic to sulfa drugs or sulfites should completely abstain from DMPS. I don't know what the DMPS stands for, sorry. Well, the pros, yeah, results are quickly and very accurately show both heavy metals, metalloids, and nutrient minerals. Reflects mercury from dental amalgam fillings and moderately reflects metal mercury that has been converted from inorganic mercury. Well, the cons requires a physician, tends to be fairly expensive, requires that you take chelation agents, which can yield serious side effects due to the amount that needs to be taken to achieve results. I had a holistic doctor many years ago here in the area where I live. Both he and his son were holistic practitioners. They were doctors and actually naturopaths. So you would expect that you are in the right place. They really wanted everyone to take their chelation agents. The son, well, the father made it into his late 80s. The son died when he was in his 50s. And they were also very high into a meat diet. Okay, now we have second test is red blood cell mineral panel. The pros are, if there is a recent or ongoing heavy metal exposure, can be considered the most accurate method for testing nutrient minerals. The cons requires a physician authorization and lab visit for blood draw. Doesn't reveal if toxic metals are situated in the tissues and in what tissues, can fail to reveal toxic metals that are impairing one's health, like, false negative. And I think what is the most used, and Dr. Morse actually talked about it quite often, is the hair tissue mineral analysis. And it is a screening test for measuring the mineral content of a person's hair that is cut close to the scalp. According to ARL, that is Analytical Research Labs, it provides information about the mineral activity in the hair that took place over the past 3 to 4 months, depending on the rate of hair growth. That would actually be a good thing if you have been detoxing for a while and then do this test and see, at what level it is. The pros, very accurate way of testing for metals is, according to Dr. Chris Shade, accurate at reflecting metal mercury from seafood consumption as opposed to inorganic mercury from dental amalgam fillings. I don't eat seafood. And you guys don't either. I haven't been for many, many years. Shows us in what tissues they are stored. Avoidable test can be done at home with a kit is sent back to lab for analysis. The cons are can take several weeks for results to return, may not be the most accurate test for nutrient minerals. Therefore, some practitioners combine the hair analysis with the red blood cell mineral panel. Okay, we don't mind if it takes several weeks to return. Dr. Shade, oh no, not, yeah, he has a PhD. Chris Shade is a mercury toxicity expert that has recovered from mercury poisoning himself and later proceed to research and develop an advanced system for testing for mercury and other heavy metals. That's good. And we have some more information there. The Chris Shade has 2 videos. I have not checked if they are still active. It was active at the time of making this PDF. So that would be good to check that. This is a nice overview as in where the toxicity can show up. Now, I do have to say it is not only heavy metal toxicity in your body that can cause these problems, because if you have an acidic body because of your diet, for instance, you have the same you can have memory loss, lack of concentration, headaches, irritability, depression. You have the fatigue, joint and muscle pain. I would only say that if you say that you have been detoxing, you have been, you have been using, and you can do it without the herbal protocol. Don't get me wrong here. You can detox with food only. It's not about what you put into your diet, it's what you leave out for the detoxing. So that means that you limit yourself and you would go on all, yeah, eventually go on all fruit. But then say you are a month, 2 months, 3 months later, and you still have all these same problems. After a month, I would already say, let's test you for heavy metals. So be aware of that. This is also exactly the same things that you have with the kidneys not filtering and with your stagnated lymph, especially in your head. And that is where Gary always comes in with opening up of the 6 lymphatic gates. We really have to make that an part of our healing journey, healing protocol. Now we go into the detoxification of heavy metals. I think a lot of people listening here, they probably know medical medium, and I have to be careful even mentioning that name. He has a heavy metal detox smoothie. Pretty delicious. But the ingredients are not what we would suggest to combine. Now, the part of the detox in that smoothie is the parsley and the blueberries. And there's a lot more in it, like bananas. And I have to admit, it's delicious. I did it for a year and a half. Did I notice any difference? No, not really. But it was delicious. But I would say that smoothie needs a little change because the food combination is not correct and it will cause fermentation, and that can be troublesome in other ways. What they mentioned here is testing. You should have sufficient heavy metal testing done to determine toxicity levels. Periodic follow-up tests are advisable to monitor progress or the lack thereof. Now, when you see that whole list with where you can get your heavy metals from, I think we've all had that in us. I mean, from the smoking to the pens that we've been using, and so many things, so many things. Complete a health assessment or seek a practitioner first. I have my health questionnaire in here. That is something that you can fill out and send back to me. You can have an iris analysis done. I do that too. And for this month, I actually have a $50 discount on it. You can find that on my in my group. I think the group is also listed in the description. There is an ad for the iridology in there. Um, yeah, it is strongly recommended that you find a practitioner to work with in order to have someone that can help you navigate the process, especially should a potential adverse reaction or other unforeseen event occur, or if you're pregnant or nursing. I would like to share this. I am working on a new website where the clients will have a client portal where they can upload stuff. I can upload, share with them. It is in the works, same as a new website for the iridology reading, where I already have all the information in there. If you want an iridology reading, you just click yes, I want it, and we'll go from there. And we usually have the analysis ready in about 2 weeks. And it is a good start to see how your how your health is. So, and what your weaker areas is, so you can pay more attention to it. And I'm going to set up a referral program. So if you would refer someone to me, and I'm going to use an official affiliate program or software for this, so you never miss out. I don't know how much I'm going to share of that, if the referral fee will $25 or $50. We'll just have to see. Yeah, and hey, you can always send me suggestions. I love suggestions. I love to hear ideas about what you feel that a good practitioner's website should have. Unfortunately, the website where most people nowadays know me from is no longer active. Dr. Morse purchased it back from the company that was always making his herbal formulas, and the site has been taken down. I don't think it will come back up, which is kind of sad. It has a ton of great information on it, and we got thanks to Jennifer, Colleen, and Kim and Stephanie, we got some really good blogs that we have actually been discussing here. So I have all that information, so it's not lost. But these are the changes that will start. Oh my gosh, I hope within a month, and get that going. I think that will well, you can make a little money, I make a little money, and as much as we would love to do anything for free, there are still bills to be paid. It is, and it's, it's an exchange of energy, so I don't feel too bad about it. I have been in business, you could almost say, since I was 18, 19 years old, and the worst part of doing business was always asking for the money. It's like, it is so weird. I don't know where that is coming from, but when people told me I have to see it as an energy exchange, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, we can do that. Guys, jump in if you want. Girls, guys, no. Ladies, if you want to jump in, just do so.
I
No,
don't
nothing
have
at all.
anything to really add right now.
Say that again?
Oh, I was just saying I don't have anything to add right now. Although I've gotten my metals checked through a naturopathic doctor. Um, and I can't remember. He had like a computer machine that he used to do it. And I'm
Oh,
trying to remember, did he take my hair analysis? I feel like he did, but I can't remember offhand.
yeah, they have
Yeah.
a way, and I did that many years ago, that you have to hold like two of these petals, and then it shows up in a software program. And I because I don't see person here at my address, so it's always yeah, over the phone and or Zoom. So I haven't looked into that any further, but that is one of the things I think that they use for testing. Okay, we go into remove the films. I think by now we all knew we need to get that stuff out of our body. Really, really have to do that. Um, yeah, to avoid unnecessary harm and struggles, it is not advisable to begin an aggressive detoxification plan before all amalgam fillings have been removed. Well, it is great information, and I absolutely agree, but sometimes there are situations where we cannot. And it should not stop you from doing a correct detoxification. And we actually had a podcast about how to do a detox correctly. So I would love to you know, direct you to that podcast to listen to that. Okay, limit sources of exposure. Yeah, phase out as many sources of exposure as possibly, starting with changing diet, replacing toxic body care products with natural and pure, preferably edible alternatives. Make sure you have access to a source of clean water. If your work exposes you to elevated levels of toxic metals, you will have to consider changing occupation. And as sad as it is, you just cannot be in constant, overwhelming, toxic environments and expect to be healthy and live long. And those are, I spoke yesterday with somebody about a situation like that, and it's like, how bad do you want to be where, in that environment for whatever reason? And, sometimes there are reasons. And how long do you want to live? Because it is difficult. And it's not like if you keep being in a toxic environment, it doesn't, you cannot detox for the rest of your life. It's you need to find a balance, but usually you're doing pretty good with a good diet, then your body can handle it better, but it's never a great thing to be around it. And yeah, number 5, diet. How you go about adjusting your diet will depend on the recommendations provided by the practitioner you decide to work with, if you've chosen to do so, and the information derived from test, health history, health questionnaire, iris findings, and the like. To offer some general tips, if you're on your own, begin by embarking on a gradual transition toward a diet rich in raw and yeah, I'm gonna take that out. Cooked fruits. I don't agree with cooked fruits. So I cannot suggest that. So it is going to be a diet rich in raw fruits and vegetables. And eventually some nuts, in coconut. Coconut is high in iron, by the way. And avocado. Overly processed food, seafood, dairy products, cooked oils, apart from coconut, almond, and avocado oil, which can be used in the transition phase. Not happy about that section. Should all be abstained from immediately. Okay, I'm in Word. I can take this out right now. Using natural chelators. Before you begin taking a product that is specifically made for heavy metal detox, learn as much as you can about the product. Contact the company behind the product if needed. Get to know the suggested usage recommendation and inquire about any specific preparation that should be undertaken before using any company's products. Now, I have to say, I will soon have access to other herbal formulas, and there are some great detox formulas with that. So I will make an overview and then get that information out. So we have a lot of options to help our body heal. And Dr. Morse is not a fan of chelation therapy per se, given that the therapy exclusively revolves around cleaning the blood detoxification, as he refers to it, while the therapy completely ignores the lymphatic system. He will still recommend if the situation is urgent. In a non-urgent settings, Dr. Morris encourages the detoxification of toxic metals to be undertaken in a similar manner, much like how you would go about eliminating anything else undesired from the body. With metals, however, be sure to keep in mind it's matter of slow and gentle, as opposed to fast and aggressive detoxification. When we can, we always go slow and gentle. This is how you will feel better. This is why when you don't get these sometimes horrible detox symptoms. And that is what he says here. This is important to heed as to avoid rapidly stirring up the metals within the body, resulting in metals potentially redistributing and settling in a new location. Adverse reactions can and often are spawned from this, and these reactions, as an example, are when it is not an actual healing crisis the individual is experiencing. What else do we have here? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's also important to continuously report the body's elimination pathways in preparation for clearing toxic metals. Now, you don't have a choice as in what you are going to clear out. I mean, if you start with detoxing and you change your diet and you add some herbs, your body will start detoxing, whatever it is, including the heavy metals. So it is important, it is with if constipated, try to restore normal bowel function before beginning. However, this is also part of the detoxing, and a big part is adding more water. Make sure you drink enough water. I recently talked to someone who was doing great, had a tall person, and doing a gallon of water, and then started eating cooked food, fell off the wagon, so to speak, and stopped drinking all that water. And voila, the symptoms come back. You don't feel good. So be aware. It's Dr. Morse always says a cell eats and poops, and that stuff has to go. And this is where water helps. It's interstitial in between the cells. So never forget to drink your water. There is a possibility that some heavy metals will compromise peristalsis, smooth muscle contraction, by suppressing the adrenal glands or autonomic nervous system. If that is the case, and this is important, make sure to use a liquid heavy metal chelation product, suggestions provided below, instead of a powder, like zeolite powder or other clay powders, because these are binders. They don't help you moving it out, they bind it. But no, it has to move out too. So start with a low dosage and gradually increase amount, which is generally recommended either way. Include an intestinal restorative like stomach and bowels. There's a stomach tea. Dr. Morse has a stomach tea, and a neurologic restorative like the adrenal glands and or the brain or nervous system. Now, as you begin researching the various most welcome known botanical and non-botanical chelating aids that exist, you will find that there is a broad controversy concerning which to use and which to stay away from, when to use them, and how much to use at any given time. Now, this is like chlorella as a binder, cilantro as a mobilizer, parsley as a binder. And I like to use after somebody has been, on the protocol, as in changing the diet and having at least 2 to 3 bowel movements in a day, is well hydrated, then you start using the GI broom. And the GI broom contains enough, it contains binders. It also contains a mover. In the meantime, I'm just checking if I have something here. I do. I have a GI broom here, and I will read you the ingredients. Because another binder that is not mentioned here is basilicum husk powder. Then we have chickweed herb, and we have Cascara sagrada bark. That is the one that makes sure that once it is binded, it will be moving out. And then it has plantain leaf, slippery elm balm, also helps with moving it out. It has the marshmallow root, fenugreek seed, white oak bark, iris moss, bayberry root, mullein leaf, and it has the bentonite clay, which is a binder. And then it has a little activated charcoal, ginger root, aloe vera, cinnamon, acerola cherry powder. So it has, he always explains that it is not just a binder, it's not just a cleaner, but I think it is one of the best products on the market to use when you are detoxing. But make sure you need to have at least 2 bowel movements, because so many people are so dehydrated and constipated. And when you're constipated, you, even despite the cascara in it, you don't want to use this one. So let me see. Although Dr. Morse is including chlorella in his chem metal detox formula for its binding effect, he is not in favor of using it for any other purpose if not necessary. So the chem metal detox, and definitely you would use this one and the GI broom, not together, because it needs to be taken 2 hours apart of everything. For detoxing heavy metals, I definitely would use both of them. I think that it was now called metal detox, not chem metal detox anymore, but you can find it. And if not, you just let me know because I have other options too. Yeah, when using a large quantity of cilantro, also known as coriander, be sure to incorporate a binding substance as part of your regimen, such as chlorella. I would personally use tablets if it were me, parsley and or zeolites to bind with any metals the cilantro may draw out. Okay, let me see. There are some recipes here. There is a simple heavy metal detox juice recipe with 1 cup of cilantro leaves, with or without the roots, 1 chopped apple, half a cup parsley, half a cup chopped celery, and 1.5 cups of water. You put it all in a blender, make it into a pulp, strain through a cloth, and it's ready for serving. Drink half of the juice and leave the other half for later in the day. Repeat this daily. Now, when you do this, you always listen to your body, how it responds to it. Because if you would have negative responses for a day or 3 days, stop it. Then we need to figure something else out. And I mean, we need to figure something else out. That is when it's always good to work with a trained practitioner who can help you any further and see what may be going on. There are some mentions here of the popular products. And yeah, we have a few more things. Magnetic clay baths, natural cellular defense. This is absolutely so much great information that, and I had this already for a while. I don't know why I didn't use this any sooner. Okay, biomagnetic therapy in using medical grade, probably designed in high quality magnets applied topically and correctly. That's the key word here, and correctly, is another powerful and complementary therapy worth considering, primarily because it inspires more energy at the cell level, essentially recharging the cells like a battery in a similar fashion to how raw foods do, contributes to altering the cellular environment favorably, alleviates pain and supports detoxification and regeneration through magnetic fields while bypassing the gastrointestinal tract, helpful for those having trouble ingesting food and supplements. I have not done it yet, so I cannot really say much about it. But I do believe in this. I do. Oh, there are some excerpts from an article entitled Magnetism for Healing. I'm not going to read this. You can read it if you want this one. Well, I think that was about it. And some more advice, about the chem metal detox formula. And yeah, there is usually when I work with people and I look at they have not been exposed to a toxic environment, I always think like well, they don't really need the chem metal detox. But actually, honestly, going through this file again, I'm like, my God, we should actually all use that, even if it would only be a month or 2 months in a year, because we are always exposed to all these heavy metals. And yeah, there are certain ones that you should not take on your own. Some you can take during a green juice fast. He talks about zeolites. And then there are a bunch of sources where this all came from. I don't know if they're still all working. I will check that before I will send it out to anyone. I will check these links, see if they still all work. Okay, that was my part. Ladies, if you have to add anything.
I think that was all really good. And every time I think about heavy metals, I think of the fillings, our fortified cereals, and things like that. And it's I've never done this before, but somebody told me that we can take a magnet and run it over our cereal and it'll pull some of the stuff
Yeah,
out,
yeah,
which
yeah, I've seen it.
okay, I would say I've never done it, so I've not experienced it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then, my own things with vaccines, that my son has autism. And so it was something I always thought about. And I mean, I've never openly expressed like, oh yeah, I believe that that's what happens because I don't believe it comes from just one thing in the first place. I think it's basically a culmination of environmental overloading. Maybe he was born with the dehydration, the stagnated lymph already. My husband and I were both very heavily vaccinated. My husband was in Iraq right before I got pregnant, and I worked in bone and tissue recovery. So I was heavily vaccinated myself. So I have no idea, but that's all the things that I think about when I think of heavy metals and that in fish and our environment alone. But, and of course, like all your chemicals that you cook with and not cook with, but your pots and pans. And of course, the chemicals we use around our homes, I have no idea if they might have stuff in them too. But um, yeah, I mean, it's just definitely cleaning your system out in any way you can. And the best way with that is going to be through hydration. And I really do believe in what Lauren Whiteman said about the distilled water. Think about how distilled water takes care of our appliances, kind of does the same exact thing with inside of our body. I actually noticed too, because I did start drinking distilled water and I make my own distilled water at home. It tastes totally different than the stuff you buy at the store. And it was drying my back of my throat out at first when I would drink. And it doesn't do that anymore. And then my husband was experiencing that as well too. And so in my mind only, I have no research on this, is it already starting to draw toxins out of the back of our throat? Like, I have no idea. So, but I definitely think that distilled water is going to be the great to start doing. And of course, eating your high fruits raw, raw as you can and getting that going. I'm a very big advocate for when you're detoxing, you're trying to get yourself back on track. It's fruit only. And then after you're done, you can start introducing your vegetables, your sweet potatoes, maybe that kind of stuff, start bringing your lifestyle back. But I eat pretty clean and I have eaten clean, but it's been 3 months, let's go 2.5, almost 3 months of just water, orange juice, and fruit. And I keep thinking, am I at the end here? Is this done? But like we've always said too, it didn't take us months to get unhealthy. So why would you think it's only going to take a few months to get healthy? And like I said, I'm coming from my background where I have been on this lifestyle for a long time, and yet I still have work to do. So I have not started introducing my veggies yet, but maybe the next few months we'll see where I stand. But I feel pretty good and I'm going to keep going. And then I'll start introducing more of a maintenance lifestyle, which in my mind includes my soft, leafy, green vegetables. I've been making my own salad dressings with like, fruits or just lemon juice, that kind of stuff. You got to just really watch for all the hidden everything. So yeah, and just slowly doing, I guess your fruits are kind of like a slow chelation process through your body. It allows it to come out slowly because you definitely don't want to flood your bloodstream with it either, because then the mercury or the metals will get into your bloodstream quicker than your body can help them exit out. So the same with detox. Start out slow. That way you don't have all the terrible symptoms of it. If you're trying to get the heavy metals out of your body, start out slow. So that way, your body isn't going into some kind of I have no idea the word, freak out mode over it and trying to do whatever, or so you don't get sick. But that's my rambling.
That was beautiful, Sarah.
Well, thank you.
Well,
I just love when it all spills out.
well, and you know what? I'm sorry, I'm just like walking around doing things. But I totally am, everything that you said resonates with me and is in alignment and things that I'm working on too. And something that I've even added that I've just recently learned about. Okay, well, first of all, I changed all my products, like anything that I knew that, had a contamination in it, we'll call it. I was like, okay, I'm just not going to use that, and I need to find an alternative, So like, I don't wear makeup. Sometimes I do put the makeup on because I'm doing like if I like my daughter got married last year, so then I obviously wore makeup. There are just some times where you just need to put the makeup on. But I found a less toxic makeup to wear, but I don't wear it every day. And then recently I learned about washing my hair with distilled water. So on Amazon, I ordered glass gallon jars. A lot of people use those to put their change in. So I have been distilling water and saving those in my glass jars and then just washing my hair over the sink using the distilled water to see if that would also help. But that's something that I just started, and I also posted that online. Um, let's see, a couple weeks ago. But other than that, yeah, I agree. Drinking that distilled water, hydration is really, really important. And, eating the high citrus fruits and right, you're so right. Like it didn't take us a couple of months to get sick, so it's not going to take us just a couple of months to heal ourselves. And it's always a process, just like the way that nature is, where you're completely detoxing and then you're feeling like crap, and then all of a sudden you feel really good, and then, months down the road, all of a sudden you just have this sore throat and you're like, what the heck? Well, you're detoxing again. So your just body just goes through these stages and it keeps cleaning out. It kind of goes through, the little nooks and crannies of your house. So, anyways, but I thought what you shared was very, very, very good, and I can totally resonate with it. And it's what I'm working on as well.
That's awesome, Katie. I'm glad to hear that. With mine, I only have the 64-ounce mason jars, and so I have a whole bunch of them. I distill my water, I hold it, I save it in that too. But where I keep my horse, they have a ancient aquifer that runs under the farm. And so I've been filling up my jugs, and then I bring them home. I run them through my Berkey, and then I run it through, and it already comes out clear. And I tested it too with my own little stuff. And so the water's good, but I still decided to still it just in case. And so I've been doing that. And I've been trying to figure out how am I going to wash my hair? Because I have long hair, I have a lot of hair. But yeah, I am just going to start doing it in the sink as well too and using distilled water. But I actually have a recipe that I got off of Chat GPT, and it says a tablespoon of raw honey, your teaspoon of aloe vera, a half a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, and a half a cup of warm water. Um, and then you can add optional 2 drops of rosemary or a small pinch of Redmond's sea salt, and then use that. You shake it all into a glass container, wet your hair fully with the warm water, massage the mixture into the scalp slowly, not like shampoo, but like a blessing. Let sit for 3 to 5 minutes, and then rinse with distilled water and never use a hair dryer. So that's
Yes.
what it says. So I have not tried that, but I have all the ingredients to try it. So I'm
Okay.
going to try that.
So that's another thing that I've adjusted is because I actually have natural curly hair, but I have a twin sister, and we are not identical. We're fraternal. But when we were younger, we looked identical. That we so much, in fact, that throughout elementary school, we had to wear a necklace with our names on it. And then
Mm.
she wore one color, I wore a different color. Her hair was long and long and curly because her name has L's in it and curl has L in it, and long starts with an L, and then my name has a T in it. So my hair was always short and straight because they both have T's in it. And so so my hair would always get blown out. And
Mhm.
then But now, knowing better, I just let my hair air dry and I wear it curly, and I still don't have it's been 5 years now and I have no idea how to do my hair because it's curly. And I don't put products in it. And like right now,
Mhm.
it's been so humid and it's just like Matt is like, Katie, your hair is out of control. And I'm
That's
like,
so
there's
funny.
nothing I can do. I mean, there is something I can do, but the using heat elements on your hair is not good for your hair. So if you
No.
can try to limit, using the straightener, using the curling iron, using the hair dryer, that is just going to help your hair heal. And so when I first learned about this diet and learned about many things, I went straight to fruit. I mean, I just dropped every food item and went straight to fruit. And it stressed out my body that I lost a little bit of hair that my hairstylist noticed. She's like, "Oh my gosh, Katie, what happened to your hair?" But I will tell you, like 6 months ago when I went and got my hair done, she's like, Katie, your hair is so full, it's so thick. And I'm like, I
Mhm.
know, it's grown back. Isn't this so amazing? Like, I'm not doing anything with it. I'm just letting it do its thing. So, anyways, just wanted to share
That's
that.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes the old has to come out before the new can blossom. I mean,
Hmm.
it's resurrection, you know. We have to die in order to rise again. And
Hmm.
they also gave me a hair oil, which I've not tried either, but it's argan oil, grapeseed oil, pumpkin seed oil, peppermint, and some rose absolute or rose auto. I don't know. Then you just kind of spray it only on the ends, not on your scalp. And then I think you only use that, I don't know, a couple times a week, if that. And of course, they even said a wooden comb, which we already know about too. The
Right.
other thing I do too, which is fun, is I ride with the windows down in the car and I let my hair hang out the window. So that's how I dry my hair a lot of the times, or I just, go outside and it dries too.
Hmm.
You just gotta find the fun in it. So, and it's good.
Always with everything in life.
Yes, the
Okay,
joy.
guys, I think we covered it all for today,
Hmm.
and
I agree.
we
A
did it
great
without
show.
Gary.
I know we miss Gary. We
Yeah,
love
well, he
Gary.
said he just texted and he said he missed us. So next
Oh,
week,
well,
next
we're very happy he had a great event.
yeah, it's good information. It is important information because it affects us all, really all.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
I want to thank you all for being here. Much love to everyone. And
Thank
remember,
you.
if you want to have the PDF, you want it, it's something that you should have in your file, or you can put it together from grapegate.com. Be my guest, but let me know. And the email is in the description of the video. Um, and I think it is healthy with fruits. I think it's fruits@gmail.com. I always have to look myself, I forget. Okay, guys. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you, Toni. Thank
Until,
you, Katie.
yeah, till the next time. Bye bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.